The segment is proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Still and still phone papa fie. Whatever gadgets you're looking for. Mobile phones, television sets, CCTV cameras. We say worry no more because we've got you covered. All you need to do is to download the app on your phone to make things very, very simple, which is a Franco Trading app. Now, you see the number on your phone, on the TV screen? Yes, you can pick that number and call us and we'll make sure we serve you. Or for further inquiries, visit our website, which is www.francotradingenterprise.com. Franco Trading Enterprise, still is still. Phone papa fie. Honorable Linda Oklu, Greater Accra Regional Minister, had the shortest vetting process in Ghana. It's never happened. She did it under 5 minutes. It was done. However, her campaign promise or her promise that she's given to us is good. Good to hear. As to whether it can be done by her or not, we don't know. Because when we take a look back in 2017, we had the same thing, making Accra the cleanest city. It never happened. It even got worse. She says she's going to make sure it happens. She's going to fix our street lights in 50 days. Can she do it? Some people are asking, well, where will she get the money from? Others are saying that there are people that immediately you start laying the cables, they start taking off the cables and selling it. How does she plan to do it? She needs our support. That's the only way she can succeed. Because if Accra is great, we will all enjoy it. She's going to make it clean. She's going to bring back the Sanitation Day to celebrate sanitation. She's going to do a lot to make sure that we don't see the kind of filth we see today, especially in our markets, in the slums, but rather we'll see cleanness. Let's see if she's able to do it. But it will take you and I to support her to be able to succeed. So let's put our hands together and do it. It's a collective effort. It's not going to be an individual thing. Let's do it together. That's the only way she can succeed. I'll start off with our newspapers, but you can join us this morning too. You can join us via WhatsApp. That is 055-157-5757, 055-157-5757. Or you can actually join us on Facebook. I always say that we place priority on our Facebook viewers, and I'll go on Facebook and read all the comments on Facebook. So leave your comment there, and don't forget to hit the share button. Let everybody on your timeline enjoy it. Now, guess what? This Valentine, we have a lot for you. Oh, my God. Now, maybe, you're a couple. You've always yearned for a good Valentine, but you don't have the resources. So we say, don't worry. Now, we are making things very simple for you. You don't have to spend a penny. What you have to do is to send us a picture of yourself and your spouse. Beautiful, cutesy picture. Cutesy. How the Gen Z say it. Yes, so send us a picture like that and add your love story to it. Send it to our WhatsApp number. That's 055-157-5757. 055-157-5757. Now, when you send us this, we will look at it. The nicest picture was the best love story gets to spend a weekend in a plush hotel. Yes. It's not just one of the spouse or the two of you, a whole weekend. So don't forget to send it to us. We are receiving it, and we will definitely sieve and select the best couple to enjoy this, okay? So want to hear from you. And also, for the children who can cook, mummies, daddies, there's the time to make your children great. Help them enhance their culinary skills, and the Big Chef Junior Edition is coming up again. So record a video of yourself cooking in 2 minutes and send it to us on 055-157-5757, 055-157-5757. Let's get to see if your young ones can cook. I mean, I have experienced it before season 2. It was amazing. I was a judge. I loved the food, and I know this time around, I will even love it more and more and more. So send it to us. Let's get to enjoy it. Let's see what they can do. Select our finalists to go into that house. I don't know if we'll be housing them this time around, but we house the tertiary. We don't know if it has a juniors, but it's definitely going to be maybe even bigger than the tertiary, So bring it to us and we'll do it together. Anyway, so I'm not seated here alone. I have Honorable Michael Edu, who has joined me this morning, and he's representing the NPP. Good morning, Honorable.
Good morning, Rosalie.
How are you?
I'm very good. Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Oh, Honorable, I like that. I like that. So the birthday is tomorrow, but I like that you wish me today.
I thought it's today.
Honorable, my birthday, if you see my dress, you'll see it's my birthday.
We can't wait.
Oh my gosh. It's tomorrow. So Honorable, when the Mexican in
Valentine and birthday.
Yeah, very, very necessary. Thank you so much.
I wouldn't be here tomorrow, so that's why I'm wishing you today.
I know.
So I don't forget.
You can't forget to. Today I'll take your number. You can't forget.
Sure, no problem.
All right. So I saw you on TV as well, and I think you were administering your views on the decision that was made by the Speaker of Parliament. I'll definitely come to you to ask you more about that. I just want to read the newspapers, and then we take it from there. So I'll start with the National Enquirer newspaper. The National Enquirer. Mahama seeks divine guidance to transform the fortunes of Ghana. And this is what the National Enquirer is saying. Also, Jinapor clarifies we are not selling ECG. I think at a point in time, we heard of the privatization of ECG, but the Energy Minister, that's John Jinapor, has come to clarify that they are not selling ECG. Military recruitment, Omane Boama pledges equity and regional balance. That's a good one. I'm just hoping it will be so. Because there are people, somebody like my father, you know, he came all the way from Takwa, and that's how he got into the military. And so the regional balance is very, very important. Volta chiefs were disrespected, embarrassed at Jubilee House in 2020, Tobe Afede says. So, contempt case, lawyers apologized to COP Yohunu, 2 others for public embarrassment. That'll be it for the National Enquirer newspaper. The next newspaper is the Daily Graphic newspaper. The Daily Graphic. We must collaborate to rid Accra of filth. A Greater Accra Regional Minister says so, and this is one of our main topics for this morning. After to launch transit scheme on Abidjan and Lagos corridor, a Swatreman owner arrested, and that's what we spoke about earlier. And I know during the sports segment, they'll definitely talk a bit about it. Teacher trainee allowance must go. Government pledges enhanced student loan scheme. Education Minister hints. Okay, will the teachers be happy about this, though? The Daily Graphic has reported this, though. But will the teachers be happy about it? Because I know that the teachers were not honorable. The teacher trainee allowance, you brought it back.
Yes.
Yes, but it looks like the Education Minister is saying that it has to go. The government is rather going to give enhanced student loan scheme.
Yes, it was part of the NDC campaign that they were going to do an enhanced student loan scheme. So I'm not surprised that this is coming. At the end of the day, the teachers will find a way out, and then that was the choice we had to make. And then once you made that choice,
you have to stay with it.
Yes, exactly.
All right. The next newspaper is The Overseer. The Overseer. Offensive youth threaten action over unresolved chieftaincy dispute. President Mahama backs APD, says it has come to stay. Victor Asari Bampo takes over from Da Costa Abuaje as NHIA CEO. Congratulations to him. NDC holds crucial NEC meeting Thursday amid appointment concerns. Okay, all right. So it looks like they are not too happy with some of the appointments that are being made. And, you know, even with regards to the GRA boss appointment, it's come under, you know, a bit of brouhaha because the grassroots feel they don't know him. Yeah. He's not one of their own, yet he's been appointed. But I thought they campaign on the all-inclusive government.
So one thing about campaign is that people play different roles. And it's not the time that you get to the grassroots knowing almost everybody. So these are some of the challenges that comes with winning a very huge majority. Mm-hmm. When you mount a campaign like the one that the NDC mounted, where they brought everybody on board, what happens is after you've won, now you have to live up to the expectation and make sure you satisfy most people. Mm-hmm. And quite frequently, you will see that the grassroots will be disenchanted because they might have people that they work down there with, and those people will not have any appointments. and then these things start to creep into their governance.
But you see, the appointment, I thought it was based on credibility, not on sacrifice.
Both.
But that's
you cannot do away with sacrifice.
Okay.
One of the issues that creep up that affects most government is the fact that you only look at, when you go into the situation where you are only looking at credibility or the capabilities of individuals, and you forget the sacrifice. It creates problems down there because people had to work for you to come to power. So when the same people realize that another person sitting somewhere is coming to take over, then it creates disaffection. But most importantly, there are millions of Ghanaians. Definitely, those are the grassroots. You get people who are also capable, who can handle. But
I don't know why we are where we are as a country. It looks like we prioritize sacrifice. So if this person sacrificed for me, then I'm going to put the person there, whether the person can do the job or not.
Rosalind, it's not always the case. You've seen the kind of appointees that government upon governments they bring in. It's a mixture of both. It's a mixture of both. And normally, they will look at the capabilities of the individual, whether a grassroots person or not. There are people who may be industry persons. They might have worked so many years and have more experience in the industry. So when it gets to that case, there are particular industries that you will require such people to man the place. And there are places that you can also put around a person who is also a grassroots person in the seat. I saw a message on one of the social media platforms, and it was quite interesting. The person wrote that one of the positions that he's never heard people fighting over is the government statistician position. Yes. If you don't have the know-how, what are you going to do there? You can't go and lobby for it.
But is it not the same as GRA? You need expertise to be there.
Yes, but I think there are laid down rules for appointing the GRA boss. I think over the period, I will have to look into the Constitution and see what guys say. But then over the period, they've always been security persons. It got to a point where they were Muslim ex-military. So I would want to understand what goes into it, into the appointment. But I think this is a person who I think is an industry person. And probably most of the grassroots didn't know him. But it's not across board. Because I've also seen a communique from somewhere in the north that they were saying he used to support them.
Okay.
So I think it's a greater Accra thing. Most of the people within Accra
probably they wanted to see him on the campaign trail and stuff like that,
but
right?
People have to understand that when it comes to campaigning, people play diverse roles. There are people who don't even come to the fore, but then the kind of things they do are so important that without them, maybe the campaign wouldn't have even gone. The strategies that they put in place for the campaign comes together to bring the results that maybe they see. So it's all communication. The party should sit down with them and communicate with them for them to get an understanding of the role the individual played so that they can come to an acceptance.
Right. Now, one Emmanuela Safwa actually filed a suit against him, but it's been dropped yesterday. You know, her suit was more of, there was a conflict of interest because as of the time that he was appointed into office as acting, he still hadn't resigned from his job at KPMG as the CEO. Hence, there was conflict of interest, and even sued John Dramani Mahama, president, and also sued the Attorney General as well, because the Attorney General, of course, represents the government. So they were sued, but yesterday, during noontime, the suit was dropped. Yes.
Possibly they've had interaction. And when it comes to even resignations, the individual can resign last minute, because once you get appointment, doesn't mean you have automatically taken over. There are some institutions, the board has to be in place for the board to confirm you and all that. So you may be, the person was appointed as an acting. And acting does not come with all the full responsibility. So I'm sure they've sat down, they've judged, and then they've come to a consideration why she's pulled the suit back. But then I think as a party, they should sit down and put their acts together so that we don't hear some of these things.
It's not too good to hear, though. The final newspaper is the Ghanaian Times newspaper. The Ghanaian Times, at Ghana Investment Trade Week launch, commit political will to real estate sector, call construction group chair to government. So I don't know, with regards to our real estate sector, it's too expensive.
Very expensive.
Too expensive.
Very expensive.
There's so many people who are investing in that sector and they are not even getting their returns.
I think my issue with the real estate sector is the fact that the mortgage systems are not so well established in Ghana. Because if you look at the rental system, the amount of money that people are using to rent, if the mortgage was working, within a period, let's say somebody stays in a building for like 15, 20 years, you should be able to own the property. Because in other jurisdictions, what they do is, once you have a mortgage, the money that the mortgage pays monthly is more like a rent. So within a period like 20, 30 years, the building becomes yours. But here, you can rent for 20 years and you still not own a building. And it's something that we have to look at. And also, we have to look at finding the cheapest way to do our buildings so that people will not have to pay so much. Now, almost every building is dollar denominated. You will not get less than $50,000 a house.
That's sad.
You see one bedroom house like $70,000. How much are people earning? These are things that I expect that the new Minister for Works and Housing will take a critical look at so that at least Ghanaians can get affordable housing to stay in.
Wow. It's gonna get better. We are hoping so. It was one of the things that I really wish that I was gonna hear the government speak on. Fixing our real estate sector. The Ghanaian Times, thank you so much for bringing this story to us, because I know most middle-class people, that's their biggest challenge. If you ask them, what's your first complaint? The first complaint is the housing. Then they move to other things. Housing, before they go to the fuel and those things. So I'm just hoping that something will be done.
The real estate agents, they are in for their profits. And land is very expensive now. So when they put the cost of land, cost of cement and everything in, and they add their profits, then it increases the price of real estate. But then I think government should make it as an effort to come in, like the way we boosted education through the free SHS. Government should make it an effort to come in with a social policy to create social housing schemes so that it brings down the deficit in housing and also the cost in housing. Then after, we can then manage it with what the real estate guys are doing, so that if you want maybe a higher taste, then you can go for what they are doing. And if you want an affordable one with the government one.
But even the government affordable housing is starting from $20,000.
That's what I'm saying. We should come together as a country and say it's a social policy. Then we know that it's our taxes that we are using. So we are not going to recoup everything, but then we are going to bring the rate, the amount down so that people can afford it.
It's no more affordable, though. I mean, how many middle-class people can cough out $20,000?
And it's more serious in Accra. Accra living is not easy.
It's not easy. GFA commences investigation into a Swatre incident, and 2 friends get 20 years over illegal possession of guns and theft. It should have even been more than 20 years. Why will you possess gun illegally? I don't understand some people, though. It just doesn't make sense. Anyway, you can join us on our WhatsApp, and that's 055-157-5757, 055-157-5757. Honorable Michael Edu is here with me, and we want to take a look at what he said with regards to what the Speaker did by suspending 4 persons in Parliament due to the chaos that happened on the 30th of January at the vetting process. Now, the Speaker said he was not happy about it. He had listened, heard, he had also seen videos that were circulating, and hence he had suspended these persons and also had gone ahead to set up an ad hoc committee. Now, talking about this, yesterday, their minority leader, Honorable Afenyo-Markin, called on the Speaker to dissolve this committee and also bring back these persons who had been suspended. Honorable Michael Edu, of course, you're on TV to give, air out your opinions, and right here again, we want you to air out your opinions again about it.
Sure, Rosalind. I personally believe that the statement that the Speaker brought out, I will not say is a ruling, because it's not grounded in law. The Speaker based his statement on the standing orders of Parliament using Standing Order 34 and 36. But if you look at 34 and 36, it talks about the fact that the Speaker may direct that a complaint made of contempt, that's referral of contempt or breach of privilege to Committee of Privilege and Immunities. So when there's an action by a member in the House, whether it's a disorderly act or whatever, or conduct, the Speaker may direct that the action may be referred to the Privileges Committee. This is the case where the Privileges Committee has not yet been set up. I'm sure the committee will be set up coming by end of this week or early next week. So the Privileges Committee has not been set up. And then you get the Speaker of Parliament saying he has set an ad hoc committee to investigate the issues. In the spirit of fair hearing, at least for justice to prevail, allow the individuals to go and face the ad hoc committee or wait for the Privileges Committee to be set up. And then the individuals will go and face the Privileges Committee for fair hearing. Then after, we can establish what really went on. And then if any punitive action is to be taken, then it will be taken. But in this instance, the Speaker didn't do that. The Speaker became a judge in his own court. He sat down, came out with the issues as he saw it. And then, even though, if you quite remember, the committee, after the incidents, the committee chairman read out a statement apologizing to Organis. That was the first step. The Speaker sat down and then ruled that the 4 members have been suspended from the House. But then our standing orders are clear. Even if there's a disorderly act and the Privileges Committee is to punish these people, that's Act 130, it defines that the people involved should not be suspended for more than 4 sitting days if it's their first time. If it's their second time, then it's 8 sitting days. If it's third time or more, then extra punitive days could be given to them, added to them. In this case, the Speaker just went outright 2 weeks. These are elected representatives coming to represent particular constituents. So you don't just come, sit down. The Speaker is not elected by the people. The Speaker was elected by Parliament, actually selected by Parliament. So if you come and sit down and then you, out of your own powers, you arrogate yourself powers and dismiss members of Parliament or suspend members of Parliament without due process, without fair hearing, then it's unconstitutional. Because I have read the Constitution to look inside to see where the Speaker got his powers from. I've looked at our standing orders, and there's nothing there.
All right.
And so if you read the statement that the Speaker himself brought out, he cited Standing Order 34, Standing Order 36, and all 34 and 36 tells you that refer the issue to the Privileges Committee.
All right, so I would just want to read what the law says with regards to the Speaker of Parliament, where he derived his power from. Now, I start with the Constitution. It comes from the Constitution of Ghana, 1992 Constitution. Article 93(2) states that the Speaker shall have the authority to preserve order in the House and enforce observance of the rules of order. Article 122 provides that neither the Speaker nor any other member of Parliament shall be subject to any civil or criminal proceedings, arrest, detention, or prosecution for any matter or thing brought by him.
That's the privileges of members of Parliament.
Okay, I just want to finish it. Brought by him in Parliament by utterance, speech, debate, or every other act done or report published by him in the exercise of his duty as Speaker or Member of Parliament. To the Parliament Act 1965, Act 300, Section 14(1) states that the Speaker shall preserve order in the House and enforce observance of the rules of order. Section 15(1) also says that Speaker provides the Speaker may, in the exercise of his authority to preserve order in the House, suspend any member from the service of the House for such period as he thinks of it. This is from the Parliament Act 1965,
yes, but then,
Act 300.
Rosalind, you don't just take that alone. Other than that, then the Speaker will conduct matters of the House based on his understanding or based on how he feels.
But that's not his understanding. That's what
when
Parliament
you come
Act
to
says.
when you come to in Parliament, you don't just take the Constitution as a single body. You take the Constitution, use the standing orders to back it, okay? Because the standing orders prescribe or describe how Parliament should go about its duties, okay? And the standing orders are clear that when there's an issue, even the same Constitution allows the rights of individuals that a person is not guilty until proven guilty. A person is innocent until proven guilty. So in any matter whatsoever, the individual must go through due process to ascertain whether the person is innocent or guilty. A judge cannot just meet somebody on the road when the person has done an offense, and then the judge will issue judgment on the person and say the police should take the person to prison. But the person must be taken through due process. The person's statement must be taken to court for the individual to defend.
Yeah, but don't we arrest and sometimes we detain the person to
yes, but
the
arrest,
person. So
arrest is not judgment.
Yeah, it's not, but this is not judgment, it's suspension.
So if the Speaker had referred the matter to the Privileges Committee, you know, you read the privileges of members of Parliament. Based on the privileges, you can, even when a member of Parliament is en route to Parliament, you cannot just arrest the individual. You have to seek permission from the Speaker if the person has misconducted himself in any way or breached the laws before you can then proceed from there. You know what should I go to the standing orders of Parliament of Ghana? Yes, I have the standing orders. I'll go with. So do you have Order 28.2? Let me open Order 28.2. Yes, please open Order 28.2, please. Do you have it? Yeah. All right. Okay. Immunity for publication of proceedings. Please read it. Is that all? No, and that's it. Yes, I just want you to read. Subject to the Constitution, a person shall not be under any civil or criminal liability in respect of the publication of 28B, a contemporaneous report of the proceedings of Parliament. It's about proceedings of Parliament. So Order 28.2 is not related to misconduct. 28 is not related to misconduct at all. Okay. When you are talking about misconduct, I think it's 34, 35, 36. And I can share 34 with you. So 33 is complaint of contempt of Parliament or breach of parliamentary privileges. So what happens is, in terms of contempt, we have two ways that the standing orders tackle. There is a stranger. There's contempt of a stranger. That's an outsider coming in, like the Emefaha Castle situation. She's not a member of Parliament. She comes to Parliament and is found embroiled in an issue. That's contempt of a stranger. So the standing orders defines how you should treat it. And in the instance of Emefaha Castle, when the issue was brought to the floor in the chamber, the Speaker directed that he cannot issue any punitive actions because the Privileges Committee has not yet been set. And more so, he felt he should be able to meet both sides to have a conversation so that there will be peace, rather than dragging the woman to the Privileges Committee. These were the Speaker's position at the time. But quite differently from what happened now, this particular issue involves members of Parliament. And when such contempt issues involve members of Parliament, there's a process you pass through. You don't just get up and pass judgment on the members of Parliament. You have to refer them to the Privileges Committee. Fantastic. And then after the Privileges Committee sits and brings its report to the floor, then the House may decide on the report.
Someone actually passed a comment yesterday. We are seeing so many,
So let me read 34.
So many violent acts in our schools, and it looks like our leaders are not doing.
Oh, come on, Rosalind.
That's what the person said. That's why I'm bringing it in.
Violence in schools have been in existence since time immemorial. I remember when I was in Prempeh College in secondary school, we will go for these inter-schools activities, and various schools had, the competition brings out some of these things. For instance, if you compete with another school and wins the school, and the teasing and all these things going on, if they are not able to handle it well, it escalates into some of these things. So we have schools that saw other schools as their enemies, as their opponents.
Are we taking it to Parliament?
No, not of course. Parliament, when you get to Parliament, you see there are a lot of instances that we agree. Since I've been to Parliament, this ninth Parliament, there are a lot of motions that have been approved that were more or less supported by the minority. Because there are instances where you get into the House and the majority do not have all their numbers. The first three, I think 6 appointees by the president, you go to the chamber and realize the majority have about 70 people there. And they need more than that. So we supported all those motions so that they will be approved. It is not all the time. It's just that some few instances where it escalates and the media are present and it becomes public. It is not all the time that these things happen. But then, most importantly, you get these things happening because people try to outwit. When you have sat down with them to decide on how things should go. Parliament, there's a lot of consensus building that happens in Parliament. But then the moment you realize that people are trying to use their powers and all that to outwit you, outsmart you, and that's what the minority leader said, that he also leads a party. He leads a group.
But is this not where emotional intelligence comes in as leaders?
Emotional intelligence.
You ought to act right no matter how provoked you are.
This is politics.
Yes, it's still politics,
Rosalind,
but it doesn't mean that politics has to come with violence, right?
No. Let's say, as you are sitting here, if somebody comes and is insisting on taking your mobile phone, would you use emotional intelligence and watch the person and say, oh, I'll not try and take my phone back because it will escalate and we are in the studio and maybe the person is not a staff here and the person just walked in and took the phone and is rushing away.
But that's different from what happened.
You instantly try to take it back.
What of yours was taken?
What is happening is you go into a committee, you have a clerk of the committee that is supposed to steer the affairs, make sure correspondence goes through and all that. A clerk tells you that we have a meeting at, let's say, 10 o'clock. Then you are in your office waiting and then 9 o'clock. Or you come to the studio and then your producer tells you that, Rosalind, you are supposed to come to the studio at 10 o'clock. You're in your car driving to the studio and then you hear that 9 o'clock, another person is sitting in your seat, manning the studio. How do you feel? You realize that they've taken you out. And you'll be hurt.
But that doesn't mean I have to come and turn up the studio.
No, because these are your employees and the company belongs to them. But in Parliament, it's a minority and majority that mans the affairs of Parliament. There's a committee. The committee is supposed to work in the interest of Ghanaians. The committee, the members of Parliament on those committees are supposed to represent their constituents, do things for their constituents, ask necessary questions for their constituents. Then a clerk publishes a meeting at midnight, and then the leader is informed that there is a meeting at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. Whilst waiting in his office, then he sees that a candidate, a nominee has been sworn in, and then the vetting has started. These are the things that are going on. There was an instance where after the committee was done, the report that was supposed to come to the floor of Parliament, the minority leader requested to see the report. And the class says, I'll submit it, you will get it. By the time the minority leader hears, the report is already signed and is on the floor. And he didn't have his input, he didn't know what is coming to the floor to be debated. Nothing of that sort. So it feels that there's this general feeling
that they're cutting you out.
Exactly, they are finding. But appointments committee is a very important aspect of our democratic process. People are going to man over ministries that have huge budgets. Ghanaians have questions. Today, I can tell you, a lot of people may be disappointed in some of the questions that are coming. Why is this so? Because if you looked at various vetings since we started this democratic process, mostly it's the minority that asks the most important questions. But if you have a committee that the minority leader or the minority are being outwitted, you are given a time that this person is coming, you go and then different people are brought there. Look at the instance. I listened to the respectable deputy speaker yesterday. There was an instant that he made a comment that they communicated to the minority leader that they were going to, on that fateful day, they were going to vet four people. He insisted it should be 3. Later they made it 4, and later they made it 5. And the minority leader had agreed that they should vet Honorable Akando. Even if so, in the spirit of fairness, you are vetting nominees, and it's about 10 o'clock p.m.
Yeah, it was 9 p.m.
It was about 9 p.m. No, I was there. It started when it was the time of Honorable Akando. When they finished Honorable Kofi Adams, it was about 9-something to 10 p.m. About 10 p.m., how will you be able to question the nominee and ask the relevant questions that will bring out the best answers that Ghanaians will expect?
I agree with you on that one, though.
So it was obvious that they needed to suspend it. And apart from that nominee, you had lined up about 6 people. Look at Honorable Okudzeto Black West vetting. Look at the things that came out. Look at Honorable Sam George. How are you going to push all these people through? And when these issues came, I think later in the subsequent vettings, when the minority got up after the Okudzeto Black West vetting, look at the other nominees. Look at how they passed them. They rushed in a lot of nominees within few minutes, within 30 minutes.
Are we asking the relevant questions, though?
That's the issue, because if you have information, in vetting, you have to look at the person's composure, the person's ability to think on his or her feet, the person's capabilities, their educational background, their CV, and all those things. The things that the person has said in public, whether they were good or not, all these things have to be weighed. Okay, so for the questions, I think largely the necessary questions have been asked, and publications were made. So Ghanaians know that these things, this vetting process is going to go on. So Ghanaians are being requested to bring the questions. Some people bring the questions. Some of the questions are put together by the appointments committee members. But then, what we are looking for is that because the process was rushed a little so that government can start business, we are expecting the majority side to give the room so that we can properly vet them, so that Ghanaians will get that satisfaction that these people who are going
I'll take a look
are the right people.
Let's take a look at Honorable Sam George.
Yes.
His vetting. It was how long? It was 5 hours, 2 minutes.
Yes.
Okay. We take a look at the questions that were asked. Minority asked 218 questions. You had the room. You asked 218 questions.
We have not complained.
Thank you very much on that note. Now, we take a look at even the kind of questions that were asked. If you take a look at his CV, 15%.
Yes.
Out of the 5 hours. Current issues, 11%. Manifesto promise, 2%. He was there to let us know about his manifesto promise.
Yes.
You asked 2%.
Yes.
Assurance, 2%.
Rosalind, who has the numbers on the committee?
Maybe majority has the numbers.
Yes.
But you had the opportunity to ask 218 questions.
Yes.
You were not stopped. Now you go ahead to comment amendment.
How was this 218 questions measured?
It's here. I have.
No, I mean, how was it measured?
So I'm still on it. Now his personal questions, 18% personal questions were asked. Past statements, 51%.
It's all part of it.
I'm not saying it's not. What I'm saying is that
this is an
what I'm saying is that what Ghanaians are asking for, what Ghanaians,
communication.
But what Ghanaians are asking for is the work. If there's a fair balance, I don't think Ghanaians will be too hard on the kind of questions that I ask, because
most of the questions are follow-ups. You know, when you are vetting an individual and the person tries to be, excuse my word, dodgy, definitely there will be more follow-ups. And that will increase the number, as you are saying. Okay, for instance, when the issue of whether the individual has a property or not comes up, and then the individual says, oh, I don't have, or I have, or my wife takes care of me, and those things, it solicits for more questions, because people would want to understand, people want to know further whether the individual coming is honest enough to even lead the institution. All these are things, the temperament, the posture of the individual, they are all important, okay? And I've seen diverse opinions from civil society. Some believe that the right questions were asked. Some believe, I've listened to Franklin Kujo, he thinks is on point and all that. Some also have different opinions, okay? But most importantly, we have to look at how our vetting is done. What is the stake of the majority? Are the majority on the panel just to enforce or affirm the nominees? I think if the majority were also there to even, if I was in majority, I think I would solicit more questions on our manifesto.
Yeah.
So that the nominee will be able to elaborate more on the things that we want to do with our manifesto.
Yeah.
Then we leave the rest of the questions that are different from manifesto to the minority. But this is the case, the majority is not even doing it. They come and they affirm the nominees, and then they leave everything to minority to us because they feel they are their colleagues.
Maybe it's time to put some technocrats on that committee.
Well, it's a committee.
Neutral technocrats.
It's a committee of the House. But
I know, but
I think it's a good suggestion. Maybe going forward, we have to look at it, get people, external people from other institutions to come and join the committee so that it will balance it.
Yeah.
But
because definitely minority will want to pin you to some of the things that
but in this country, we have neutrals.
Majority wants, even if we don't have neutral, the technocrats, their job is to ask. Their job is to ask what you will do with regards to the work. So these technocrats will not come in asking any personal questions and stuff like that. They'll come in and ask you about the work, and that's their job, you know, so that we can have a better Ghana. Because as we sit here, if we have somebody go into vetting for 3 days and we end up having a problem, then obviously we don't need a number of hours, but rather we need to get the results. So it's the answers that will be given and the kind of results that we'll get. So I don't know if we have some messages that we can read. We'll quickly read a few messages. I'm still here with Honorable Michael Adu, and he's here representing the NPP this morning. So I'll go on Facebook first. That's the very first thing. So Facebook, Timothy Annabella says, sanitizing Parliament for brighter future. Those 4 parliamentarians' chaotic behavior is unacceptable and warrants severe consequences. Not only should they be suspended, but their seats should also be declared vacant to pave way for the by-elections. I'm sorry, darling, it can't happen. That one, it can't happen, okay? So in their respective constituencies, this would ensure that their constituents are represented by individuals who are truly fit for purpose. It's essential to hold parliamentarians to high standards as they are entrusted with making decisions that impact the lives of citizens. Their actions should reflect the values and principles of Ghana rather than bringing shame and discredit to the institution. Declaring their seats vacant will send a strong message that such behavior will not be tolerated and would allow for fresh elections to bring in new representatives who are committed to serving the people. Ultimately, it's crucial to prioritize the integrity and effectiveness of Ghana's parliament, ensuring that it truly serves the nation and its citizens. Is this Mr. Mensah? Okay. This guy's agenda is to make sure the majority listen to him only. Aaron Bebaka says, good morning to you. The chaos, misunderstanding, and confusion that have characterized the political landscape of the Fourth Republic must come to an end during this 9th Parliament session. We must advocate for a more transparent, accountable, and effective government that truly represents the interests of the people. All right, so a few ones on WhatsApp as well. So Alhaji Hamza Pig Farm says, good morning, my dear. The Speaker will not recall the 4 suspended parliamentarians, and he will not dissolve the ad hoc committee today, and he will not do that tomorrow. In my humble opinion, the Speaker acted in the interest of Ghanaians, and whoever thinks he does not have that power to do so should proceed to court and spare us this noise. Truth be told, the behavior of some of the parliamentarians doesn't deserve to call them Honorable Afenyo-Markins, and the micro-minority is using the vetting process to target individuals and to settle political scores, which is totally unacceptable. They should go to court, period. But Honorable, let me ask you this. How come you haven't gone to court? Because in December, was it December? It was a quick one for you to go to court.
So there are always ways to solve some of these issues.
But you didn't do that
what the minority leader has said is that he will do more engagement. Currently, even with the current situation, with what the Speaker has done, I think over the weekend he started some engagements with the majority leader. They tried to reach out to the Speaker. They couldn't reach the Speaker. He was sure by today he would have reached the Speaker so that they come to a common understanding. Then they can resolve these issues. So the immediate position is to engage. Minority has always tried to engage. It is when engagement breaks that you see some of these excesses. But going forward, we don't expect to see excesses. We expect that both sides, the hardness and then the hard stance positions will come down, and then we can all engage and then build a better parliament. All right.
Good morning to you all. The minority has no moral right to give orders to the Speaker. The fact that it is parliament proceedings when a member misconducts him or himself or herself, it should in vain. The leader of the House can take action against any member the clerk has done. Okay. Yeah, I don't think this person understands what happens in Parliament too much. Yeah. Good morning, host. Let your guests understand that all other laws are inferior to the 1992 Constitution, referring what you read to him. He should know that leaders do not have to complain about time when their services is needed. We see Parliament sometime work. TDB, Saibu. That's his name. Okay, thank you, Saibu, for sending your message.
They are human. They cannot work 24/7. Even machines break down.
Good morning, Madam Host. I think Afenyo-Markin is being hunted by the minority seat. He vowed not to sit there, and he's now there. He is one of the factors that the NPP lost more of the seats in Parliament. The NPP should keep quiet and reorganize their party. Moses from Tripoli. Good morning. Why minority disrespectful? By allowing the suspended MPs come into the chamber for what? Afenyo-Markin will break the NPP party into pieces if he continues in that posture. Mr. Speaker is the head of the chamber, so if you break any rules, you must be sanctioned. We voted for them to fight for jobs, good roads, water crisis, sanitation, and others, not to be carrying tables and cables in the House. If your MP involved in this disgraceful manner 2028, he must be voted out. The youth of the country are suffering because there is no any hope for them, and because you are satisfied with everything and have energy, you are there doing this embarrassment. You don't deserve to be called honorable. We need jobs, and you are there fighting. Shameful to all those involved. Honorable, is this going to make the party a bit unpopular? Because people are saying that, when this happened, there's been uproar on social media. People were calling for the heads of these MPs that took part in it. Now they've been suspended, but the NPP seems to be fighting this particular issue.
Because it's not grounded in law. It could happen to anybody. So what we are doing is we are trying to protect the Constitution.
But people out there think that the NPP is condoning this act.
Rosalind, let them follow due process. If they had gone through the right processes, the Privileges Committee was set up and they had gone to face the Privileges Committee, they had brought their report. Even quite interestingly, the ad hoc committee that the Speaker has set, the chairman of that committee is Honorable Emmanuel Bezra. The former, I think, Ho West also, I've forgotten the constituency. He's recorded in the 8th Parliament as saying that he will beat some MPs. So the person that you are going to make a chairman of a committee is on tape saying he will beat people. he's inciting violence. And this is the person you are going to even make as a chairman of the committee. So even before the committee starts its work, there are issues with that committee.
All right. Greetings, Joy Prime. I totally disagree with the Speaker on the suspension of the 4 MPs. However, if the Speaker can lock the whole Parliament and put the keys in his pocket and come back at his own convenience,
exactly.
What do you expect the entire House to behave? He should be suspended himself first before taking this action. The Speaker's terms of office has been too controversial, unlike the previous Speakers. He should stop acting like he's more powerful than anybody in the country.
You see, that is one thing people are not even looking at. Why is it that this particular term, the 8th and 9th Parliament, have been so controversial? It's because the Speaker always wants to arrogate himself powers. And that has been the bane of issues that we keep talking about. That let's follow due process. And I think everybody will be happy. But the moment you realize that the process is being done to the advantage or to the detriment of another, then you start to create chaos.
Right. Good morning, Ross. Please tell the NPP man, you mean Michael Edu, Honorable, the great NDC will not listen to Afenyo and their family. Then what they did, they say go to court. They should also run to court.
Everything that you go to court.
It's everything that you go to court.
You are not doing it here. Sometimes you have to weigh the options before you go to court.
Okay, all right. Good morning, Roslyn. Love for country and property leadership is losing on us country because of dirty politics and greed. Let me remind people who get opportunity to rule and to run this country's affairs to note that proper accountability is not here, but after here. Now, people who have been picked and all mentioned by President Mahama, all Ghanaians except for you, is to demonstrate real governance, which will include all and also grow every sector of our economy for a better Ghana. We cry for Stephen Opoku from Michelle Camp. All right. Good morning, Rosalind. Many people have problems with the suspension of the MPs pending investigation. Is it because they are MPs? Don't we hear of interdictions, suspensions, sets aside every time? We normally hear that civil servants who are accused of little thing is taken out of office for investigation to take place. Why are MPs different? Philemon from Drapa. Philemon, that's a very good point you've made.
Civil servants are not voted into office.
Good morning,
one thing we have to understand as Ghanaians is that when people vote,
okay.
For instance, my constituents, the number of people who voted in my constituency are about 100,000. So when 100,000 people vote, you should know that they have diverse views, diverse opinions. So you cannot just decide on them based on how you feel. You have to give them all the opportunities for fair hearing and everything so that their decision to vote does not just go down the drain. So the privileges of members of parliament is in effect protecting your voice, protecting what you put in place so that people don't just come and use their powers to abuse or create problems for this country. All
right, so good morning, Rosalind. Afenyo-Markin can't order the speaker what to do. He has to stop bragging. Robert yanks him from Cape Coast. I'll read just one more, and then we go to our next topic. Good morning, Madam Host. The speaker is becoming autocratic, a judge in his own court. The speaker is playing politics. He just wants to weaken the basis of minority in parliament. Kudos to Honorable Afenyo-Markin and his men. We, the youth, are solidly behind them. The speaker should allow rule of law to prevail. We are not in Banana Republic. Ghana is democratic nation. Basai Komala Thomas. All right, so this is all I'll read for now. And I'll come back later to read a few... Somebody says I should go and check the questions and this is asking.
Just saying bye-bye. But Rosalind, most importantly, I think the speaker is setting a bad precedence. Because if we allow his decision to stay, what will happen is any speaker who sits in that chair, should there be any issue that is contemptuous of parliament, the speaker will just sack members of parliament out of the house or suspend them indefinitely. And their members will not get representation for that period that the speaker has suspended them.
So they have to be careful with regards to the precedent that's been set.
Yes.
Very, very important.
Very important.
All right. Okay, so let's move on to our next topic. Honorable Linda Oklu, the regional minister for Greater Accra region, has good things for Greater Accra. I'm excited about it. If only it can be executed. I want us to take a look at the video. Okay, before we take a look at the video, let me just tell you a bit about it. I'll take Honorable's opinion and we go into that. So, Honorable Linda Oklu, she says she's going to make Accra great again. She's going to make sure sanitation is back again. So we are going to have very clean Accra. Now, I want to bring it to your doorstep because during your tenure, we heard the president say he was going to make Accra the cleanest city in the whole of Africa.
Yes.
But it didn't happen.
He did his best.
He did his best. So what happened? What went wrong?
A lot. So let's go to Linda Oklu. I think that's
okay. Let's go to Linda Oklu. I agree with you.
The president is no more there. He's ended his tenure of office. A new government is in place.
Yeah.
We have a new minister. Quite interestingly, she had the fastest vetting in the history of vetting. She came and she was asked to go because I don't know what necessitated that. I personally felt some questions should have been asked, but the appointments committee felt she was okay, so they asked her to go. It's good that she's coming out to this position. Accra has had its own issues, and one of the main issues is sanitation. And then I also overheard her saying that she will make sure she puts in place within the shortest, I think 50 days or so, she makes sure that the street lights are back on. It's something that has baffled my mind over a period of time.
Why so?
Because I remember in the last government, there were instances where you would see them fixing street lights. There was this day I was listening to one of your sister stations, and I think the journalist on the screen was talking about street lights and so on. So within the week, the minister came out, the Minister for Energy came out, and then they started fixing street lights. Then less than 2 months, all the lights were off again.
You know, I even said it in my intro.
It's something I just don't understand. How they fix street lights and the lights go off. I know there's been instances where we're talking about cable thefts on the street lights. People go and remove the cables in the street lights as scrap and all those things. But as a country, I think we've gotten to the point that we have to find a solution to these things. Because it's not like we don't have lights. We have lights. But then the lights are sometimes off when you are driving in the night. And it can be scary in some places. There are some places when you drive in the night without lights, you don't know what to come at you. So I feel the new government, if they really want to tackle this thing, I've seen Dubai put in place a traffic light authority. Then they have a traffic light management authority or something like that, that just manages traffic lights. As a country, I think we should put in place maybe a street light authority or something under the Ministry of Energy so that their work will be just to employ people to monitor street lights. So that when the lights go off, they know. Then they can move in immediately to fix it. Other than that,
so when? What are you going to do to these persons that are always stealing the lights, stealing the cables?
That's the issue. If you put in this monitoring mechanism or an agency that will monitor the street lights, what will happen is when the lights go off, they know. They will be able to see and then move in quickly so that if somebody is tampering with cables, they can move in. But if there's no oversight responsibility and it's part of the work of the ministry or the agents, other agencies, as one of their sub-contracts that they do, the monitoring will not be so effective. And that is when you get people going in at any point in time to do what they do. And I think the security agencies should also be up and doing. When these guys take these things, there are places they sell them. But I've not heard that, people went to steal cables and street lights and they've been arrested. I've never heard anything like that.
I think we used to hear it, but we never heard it.
In Ghana, people even damage light poles. People drive into light poles, their cars are taken to the police station, and the next thing you know, they are gone, they don't pay for the light poles. All these things are there, and it's a cost to the state. It's our taxpayers' money that is used to do these things.
Yeah.
And we keep going back and forth on these things. But I'm happy the Greater Accra Regional Minister says she's going to target fixing the street lights. I don't know how she's going...
In 50 days.
That's how I'm coming to. I don't know how she's going to do it. Whether she's going to move to the Electricity Company of Ghana, she's going to move to the Ministry of Energy to get the bulbs, to fix them. I don't know how she's going to do it.
Somebody even asked how she's going to finance it.
Exactly. I don't know how she's going to finance it because even the Minister of Finance has not yet presented his budget to Parliament. The budget will now come for us to debate and approve. So I don't know how she's going to do it, but I wish her well. If she's able to push for it, maybe 50 days is overly ambitious.
Maybe she'll start in 50 days.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe 50 days is overly ambitious, but be as it may, she should start something.
Exactly.
She should start. She should make the effort to lighten up Accra because it's our capital city.
Yeah.
If anybody enters Ghana, that is the first impression they take away. It got to a point where Nigerians come to Ghana and they envy us because we have lights on.
Yeah.
So if you're able to light our streets, it's even a plus to our tourism sector.
That's so true.
Because people will enter and they will see that this country, we are putting our acts together. And it promotes, it beautifies the environment as well as helping in security management. Because if you are driving in the night, or even if you are not driving and the lights are on in the streets, it helps you to protect yourself. It helps you to visibly...
A place that I'm really praying that we have the lights on is the motorway.
The motorway is under construction.
Yeah, but...
So I think they have removed all the lights because of the construction going on.
Even before construction, there was no lights.
Yes.
There was no...
So I remember...
From the motorway, let me show you. From the motorway...
I know, I drive on it.
You drive on it, eh?
So I remember what happened was they started a project to fix street lights on the motorway. Halfway, that was when they took the first agreement to Parliament for the motorway construction.
Okay.
So that was when they halted it because they knew they were going to remove all the lights all over again. That was when they halted. So until that construction is done, I don't think the motorway will have street lights.
But it comes all the way to the N1.
Yes.
So we take the motorway, we start the N1 all the way from Jolo.
That's problematic.
Jolo Junction all the way to Tesano.
Have you used the Bema come to Major Mahama route?
There's no lights.
In the night. Very terrible. But I'm very sure that now that...
Honorable Lendo.
No, the president is staying there, chain homes. So I've seen them constructing a bypass.
That's where his house is?
Yes, towards where the president stays.
Okay.
So I'm sure when they are done with the bypass, that's a presidential road, so definitely they may put the lights on that particular road. And it's something they must do. The president cannot stay there and then the road to his house is always dark.
Yeah.
They have to do it. But it shouldn't just be the president. It should be for Ghanaians.
Yeah.
Everywhere there are issues of street lights, I think the appropriate authorities should act. They should act so that Ghanaians will enjoy. There are some basic necessities. Ghanaians are not calling for too much. I think there are some basic necessities we should be able to do.
But that road, who called the Mahama Road, though? All of a sudden, it's like it's
because of the Major Mahama.
Okay, okay.
I don't think it's because of President Mahama.
But it was named Mahama before they put Major Mahama's statue there.
Yeah, because he went to stay there.
Yeah, so it was named after John Dramani. Yes, Mahama.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was constructed, I think, 2 years before Major Mahama even passed.
So that's John Dramani.
Yes.
Dramani Mahama's president.
Yes. Anyway, so let's talk about the Sanitation Day that she's bringing back as well.
Yeah, it's also good. It's also good, at least a day that we all clean. But it shouldn't be a one-time event. What I've seen is that mostly we say Sanitation Day, we go and spend on tea, we go and spend on the event. The moment somebody hears that Sanitation Day, that is where an event organizer is looking to cash in. They go and do all the pageantry and the fanfare and everything. And officials will go and hold rooms
every Saturday,
and take pictures. That shouldn't even be the case. There should be an effort to help the municipal assemblies, the MMDCs, to be able to push the localities, the neighbors, to clean their environment.
Well, she mentioned it in her statement.
And you have to enforce the bylaws.
Yeah.
The bylaws, in the olden days, they have the tankers.
Yeah.
They were enforcing the bylaws. Now, there's no one to enforce bylaws.
Maybe she'll bring back tankers.
Maybe. And I've also seen these young guys, the Bastard boys. I think they are, in my opinion, they are doing very well. So possibly the minister should engage them in Greater Accra so that with some motivation, they can't just be volunteers and be working all the time. they should maybe bring them closer to government, give them commensurate motivation so that they can also effectively support in the cleaning. And I believe when people realize that, okay, we took bus stop boys who are volunteers and we've been able to engage them effectively and they are working and they are earning something, people will now start to form volunteer groups. Why is it that it's possible for Ghanaians to travel outside the country, go to the UK and do cleaning, even with degree?
No, we don't do that.
But we don't do that here. It's because of the motivation aspect.
But you see, again, what about the citizenry getting to know that we need to be clean? Because you see, you sit in car and people are throwing sachet water around
Rosalind,
the parks and all of that. You know, should we start penalizing?
Yes,
maybe we should.
Yes, and that's why I said we should enforce bylaws. We should enforce our laws, okay? Sometimes people will be in car and throw something out and nobody will see. Nobody will see, but it's the training. Because I know with kids, when you start training them that you don't drop something out of a car, and they drop it in the car, they get so used to it that they cannot drop it outside. So with time, if we train our kids, if we train our people, they'll get used to it. And then we have to enforce the laws. But wherever you go in the world, you will get people littering. It will surprise you that the most advanced countries, you go and sometimes you see the roadside, you see litter. People throw things out. You will not get a perfect system.
That is better than here.
But then, what does the agencies involved do? The municipal assemblies, what do? Do they put in a mechanism where people are cleaning every day? That's what we have to look at. And even if you are not employing people to clean, are you targeting various communities?
But we do have people that clean every day, you know.
Yes, so because we don't have...
How neat do they clean? We have so many agencies. Zoom Lion is one of the agencies. We do.
It's a conversation I don't want to go to.
We do. I see them every morning sweeping the roadside, and by afternoon,
do they get paid?
The sun is
because my constituents, I have some of my constituents working with Zoom Lion, and run up to the election, that was one of the main issues. That for a year or so, their salaries were not in.
Wow.
So that's why I say it's a conversation I don't want to go to, because I get emotional for them. I get very emotional because people will sweep and then they are paid just little sums.
Yeah.
And for a whole year, the money doesn't even come. So how effective will the person even sweep? Okay. When I see them sweeping, sometimes I feel for them. And I think these are things we have to look at. I'm hoping that the new government will look at all these things, the terms, the amount they are offering them, the paltry sum. They have to look at all these things. Like I said, people will travel outside Ghana and go and clean and be proud of it. Why can't you do the same here? Because I know there are a lot of young men that if we should increase even these amounts to not so huge, but to an appreciable level, people will pick brooms and would even want to be employed to sweep. But it's not there.
But you know, in Ghana here, when you say somebody who has gone to university, has a degree, should go and sweep, that's a problem because...
No, because so it's a human thing.
But you see, there are people out there who are looking for jobs. It's very true. Maybe the education standard is not there yet, but they still need jobs. And they are, working around begging people for money for food.
Rosalind,
so these persons, if this job is available,
Rosalind,
definitely,
if you've gone through very hard situations, you will do with whatever comes your way.
That's true, though.
I knew somebody with a master's degree, they didn't have a job. Got a job with Forestry Commission. They were planting trees. And I think the salary was just about 1,000 something. Because at that moment,
he needed that money.
He was planting trees and he was doing the job until he found a better job. So if you create the condition where even the income or the remuneration is a little better, is good, people don't mind. People will do it and use it to build for better positions later or for better jobs later.
I really want our viewers to send in messages to us to let us know how they think that Honorable Linda Oklu can achieve this, because I've said it, it's an inclusive
But she has a very huge job.
She has a very huge job. That's what
Accra
I'm saying.
is not a small city to handle.
See, I don't know where she's going to start from, whether she's going to start from, because there are some areas that for me, she doesn't have to even bother. You know, some places in East Legon might be okay. No, you don't need too much. Some places maybe in, you know, the Adentan areas and those places. I'm not saying all.
So why is it so?
Yeah.
I think it even comes down to how we plan our settlements. When you go to East Legon, see how well planned it is. So you're not likely to see people throw things around.
Yeah.
In a very well planned establishment. But then when you go to the places where the planning is poor, that is where you get somebody pass behind somebody's house
slums,
and just throw
something
refuse anywhere. Yeah.
I agree with you. If you go to places like, you know, like I said, the Adentan areas, the cantonments, Labonis, those places, you might not see that kind of, you know, filth that we see. But the places that we see the filth, that we don't even want to see the filth, are marketplaces.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the market where we buy the food that we eat, we consume, are so filthy that sometimes you ask yourself, and some of them will tell you, oh, the filthier it is, the tastier it is. No. So let's hear from you on 055-157-5757, 055-157-5757. How can Honorable Linda Oklu achieve this? Because it's something that we all need to do. If she calls on me...
It's a collective responsibility.
It's a collective responsibility. If she calls on me, I'm 100% ready to help. I know Brenda is 100% ready to help. Esiedua is 100% ready. We are all 100% ready to help because we have to achieve a clean city.
You have to help with the expectations.
Yes, we do. No expectations here.
Sure.
Listen, if you are using a road at 4 a.m. and you have street lights, do you know how exciting that is?
Yeah.
It's not for you to put money in your pocket, but the fact that you know you are safe.
Yes.
That's okay for you.
Yes.
If you are using a road and you're not, the filth, you know, is bringing cholera. Look at, there was cholera outbreak not too long ago. Took lives. In Accra. Took lives. Why should that be? You know, so if we know that lives are going to be saved, why are we expecting something back? We just have to work together. If we have to hammer some sort of education on people not throwing refuse around, people making sure that almost at a point in time, I think there was supposed to be every household should have a bin.
There was something like that. Even Zoom Lion started something like that. But I don't know how far it went.
Well, some people said the bin got too expensive. It was 1,500. Some people said, some said it was, so they couldn't afford it.
This country, we have systematic issues, you know. There was a time I heard people buy bins and the next day it's gone.
They steal it.
They steal it. You put the bin there and it's gone.
Wow.
We have a situation. And I feel with time these things will change. But then we need more education. We need to educate more people. And as we educate more people with time, gradually it will change.
I hope it does. Let me see if we have some messages that have come in. I'm just hoping that with education, things will change. We need, you know, once some places, as we talk about making Accra the cleanest places, you go to a place like Sunyani, it's not dirty.
No.
It's not dirty.
It's not dirty.
It's not dirty.
It's not dirty.
So it's Accra. That's the filth is.
Because of the population in Accra too. Yeah, the population also contributes to it.
Okay, all right. So Samir Boachi Asamankese says the practice of asking lengthy questions is not new, and this committee did not establish it. We have observed several vetting processes in the country, including a 3-day extended questions period. Let us not give the impression that the minority seeks to undermine any of the nominees. The question remains, where the relevant questions posed, the Speaker must abandon autocratic leadership behavior, and these questions are crucial to Ghanaians. Your guests are comparable to mine. Good morning to Honorable Frank Esiedu. Okay. Audu Lash Jr. says, good morning, Roslyn. Yes, Speaker Gbagbin may be legally wrong in suspending the 4 members of Parliament over 4 days, but that singular action was morally right and was needed immediately to restore their dignity. Parliament majority of Ghanaians are in favor of the suspension until the posture and utterance of Afenyo-Markin and Frank Anodompre become Ghanaian. MPP will remain in opposition as long as they remain their leaders in Parliament. MPP has lost it. This is not MPP of old. Do you agree with Mafia?
So what I see a lot of comments and people saying MPP stay in opposition because of this or that. Now, no one determines who stays in opposition or who comes to government. The Ghanaian is more enlightened, more rational. And I don't think most of these comments sometimes are based on biases. So I don't really take them as what the masses are saying.
Okay.
We wait to see how the government will go. Is early days. As time goes on, we will see whether the opposition is justified or not.
Okay. So Charles Champong has sent me. Oh, Charles, I read your message all the time. The MPP and the minority in Parliament think we Ghanaians are subservient to them, but they are fooling themselves. That is why they suffered the historic and humiliating defeat in the 2024 general elections. Arrogance has taken better part of the NPP. They should wake up and smell the coffee that the NPP is no longer in power. Good morning, dear. All right, Charles, thank you for sending your message. The Speaker of Parliament doesn't have any powers to suspend members of Parliament for that 10 working days. The 1965 Parliamentary Act that talks about suspension is not captured anywhere in our 1992 Constitution. We cannot rely on pre-democratic principles in this current democratic Parliament. The Clerk of Parliament should also stop that partisan politics in the House. The mighty minority will not sit and watch the mini majority to bully them. Master Planner from Kintampo. Good morning, host. Please, a speaker should be careful with we the youth about Linda. She can't do FOCO just like what we did under Akufo-Addo. Minority is doing well. I don't understand this one. What are you saying? What has Linda done? You're saying Linda can't do the job? You see, are you looking at Linda's failure or you're looking at Accra being neat or dirty? Sometimes some of these things, just because the person belongs to another party doesn't mean that we should expect the person to fail.
Of course.
Because if the person fails, we all suffer.
That's why I always say we wish them well.
Yes.
Because if they're able to do well, we all enjoy. But
exactly.
Then if they fail, we all suffer.
We all suffer for it.
Exactly. So
that's it.
We wish them well.
Yeah. Switch Rosling, please kindly go and check the number of questions NDC members ask. Honorable Ken Oforiatta, Honorable Muntakai, and Honorable Okujeto Ablakwa asked the nominees of Nanado. They played the nominees' videos and questioned their CVs. This is not something new. Let's not create an impression that it's never happened. Nobody is saying it happened or it didn't happen.
Rosling,
what it is that...
You know, I've watched the 8th Parliament vetting.
Yes.
And the ranking members had at least no less than 6 questions. Mm-hmm. Members of the committee had at least no less than 3 questions. Mm-hmm. Members of the committee, as pre-committee establishment, were allowed to scrutinize CVs before even the vetting. Mm-hmm. So you realize that they will spend more than an hour on just CVs.
Yeah.
But this particular committee, the chairman will not allow that. So if somebody has 3 questions, that person has to use the 3 questions on the CV. As soon as you are done with 3, you are done. You're done. That's why you get CV 15% or the percentage being minimal. Because the way the chairman is conducting... So the CV,
because the main concern has to be even more of the CVs and
this is the situation where you have the minority having lesser numbers on the committee. And then they are also limited in even how they can even ask questions.
Right. So the minority is not too happy with that.
Of course.
And
Ghanaians in general are not even happy with the questions.
Yeah. Ghanaians want, the questions that Ghanaians want, they are not getting it. Good morning again.
So send the questions.
For you. Now talking about representation, while Sal was left for 4 years without representation, okay. from Emma Bass, Woodlandsea. Good morning, beautiful Roslyn. The hypocrisy of most media houses and some Ghanaians have been exposed big time during this vetting. It looks like the speaker is becoming a tyrant, as Honorable Montaka had alluded to. If Ghanaians allow this tyrant of speaker to continue, you're saying tyrant nature, or because I can't say that he's a tyrant, okay? So, good morning, Roslyn. It's surprising that our lawyers easily get confused on any small matters of law. They should stop the disgraceful comments of saying the speaker is wrong, where it is written in the constitution that some people are above the law of Ghana. The minority leader is the cause of all these problems. He must be arrested. Political spider Kintampo. You want to arrest a minority leader? Hey, you get a kapao. Good morning, dear, from Audu Idrisu. As well as we condemn the unfortunate situation at the Parliamentary Appointment Committee, it's not law for Speaker to directly suspend more than 4 days. The Speaker had jumped the gun. He should work within the law. He's not working outside the law. Why suspend those MPs before setting a committee? Does he have the powers to suspend for more than 4 days? Which part of Constitution of Parliamentary Standing Orders did he apply? Ghanaians should call Speaker to book. He's too authoritarian. OPK, patriotic voices go. So Honorable Bagman will go down as the worst speaker in the history of Ghana with his partisan and biased attitude towards the minority, but still the minority NPP MPs will hold Mahama and NDC accountable on all their big promises to Ghanaians. And speaker attitude is very shameful in this democratic era. Regards to Honorable, okay, Osei Kwejo, you. Good morning. If the minority side of House were able to ask more than 200 questions, how many questions were asked by the majority side of House? And their only interest is sitting allowance. Well, they asked, I think I have the number. They didn't ask Kwao. It was so bad.
It's a question to the gods.
No, but it's so bad because I was like, so you sit there and the minority is able to ask 200 questions. And how many did they ask? I'll find it. I was shocked. Okay, so they asked 23 questions. For those of you asking, they asked 23 questions.
And what were the questions?
All right, so good morning, Apedo Desma from Tema. I all need to move this country. It's a national policy because politics is killing our country. I agree with you 100% on this. Hi, host. The Honorable knows very well that Zoom Lion is not the employer of the sweepers, but it only pays the allowance when funds are received from the government. Is this true?
Okay, I think he's also bringing my attention to it. I think mostly youth employment employs them under Zoom Lion.
Okay.
And then when government releases funds, then... So if that's the case...
So they are government employees?
They are...
Because youth
employees...
No, but if it's youth employment...
I think that's an arrangement they have with Zoom Lion. That youth employment will employ them under a model for Zoom Lion. You know, youth employment has a lot of models, okay? So I would want to get the details.
Yeah, because
clearly.
I don't know how this is making sense to me this morning.
Yeah.
So youth employment employs them and pays them through Zoom Lion.
Exactly. Because Zoom Lion will pay them. Because I think the money comes to youth employment to Zoom Lion.
Exactly, but you are paying them through Zoom Lion.
But youth employment does the recruitment for them.
Why?
I don't know. It's something we must find out. Because Zoom Lion does not, I don't think Zoom Lion takes the responsibility of recruitment directly. There are institutions that do not recruit directly. People recruit for them. It's happening in Ghana. There are a lot of recruiting agencies like Lene.
Yeah, I know.
So I think that's the same model they are running.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. The NPP MMC, that's micro. Okay. Why are you calling them micro? All right. The distractions, interjections, and obstructions must be stopped. The NDC must use their macro majority caucus to push government business through. Maybe NPP caucus still believe they are in power, but they are not. I can see pain in them, but they forgot they were given 8 solid years to fix the problems facing the nation. They couldn't, period. All right, so I think that's all that I'll read for, but okay, that's all I'll read for now. But for this one, this Zoom Lion thing, we need to get to the bottom of it. You know what because anyway, I'm just hoping that one day we'll be able to get to the bottom of it. And then, because if they were not paid 1 year, they were employed by government, why were they not paid for 1 year whilst they were employed by government? Was Zoomlion receiving the money? Was Zoomlion enough to receiving the money? Now, is it going to be the same procedure since government has changed, or is it going to be different?
It's been the same since, so we wait to see if they'll change the terms. Yeah.
Honorable Michael Adu, thank you so much for being here this
Thank you,
morning.
Rosalind.
We are very grateful that you could spend time with us. And
it's been a pleasure.
Yes, and for those of you who tuned in to watch, we are super grateful. Those of you who even sent in your messages, we are more grateful. Tomorrow is my birthday, so we'll be celebrating my birthday very well tomorrow. And if you know, so unfortunately, Benjamin Kwashi, who had to represent the NDC, couldn't make it this morning. Hopefully we'll get him maybe another day so that he can also come and share his opinion on the issues that are pending on behalf of the NDC, because they also have to have their voice heard, but he couldn't make it this morning. So that's all time will permit us. And for you couples, it's time for you to enjoy yourselves. Want to give that lucky couple a weekend stay in a plush hotel. Are you that lucky couple? Do you want to be that lucky couple? What do you have to do? Take a picture of yourself with your spouse and send it to us. You know, a lovey-dovey picture. Send it to us and add your love story to it. Send it to our number, 055-157-5757, 055-157-5757, and we'll select that lucky couple for the Valentine weekend. You know, this time round, Valentine's on the weekend, starts on Friday all the way to Sunday. So we will give you that great stay in a plush hotel. But don't forget to send in your picture and your love story. And also, the Big Chef Junior edition is coming. Junior edition is coming. I'm excited about it. I know you're excited. You have children who can cook between the ages of 7 to 12 years. This is their time to become celebrities. Record yourself, young ones, of you cooking your favorite dish and send it to our number, 055-157-5757, 055-157-5757, and we will select some lucky finalists to represent themselves and their schools on TV. So it's your time to shine, kids. It's your time. So just make sure that you record yourself, but make sure you are between the ages of 7 to 12. 7 years to 12 years. So it's 2 minutes video. We'll be waiting for it, okay? Anyway, Honorable Michael Adu, we are super grateful. I'm thanking you once again.
Thank you, Rosalind. This morning I want to greet the good people of Oforokrom. It's because of them I'm here. I want to thank them. Over the weekend, I was in the constituency.
Okay.
We went around, visited some chiefs and some opinion leaders, and also visited a couple of churches. And I would say I'm very appreciative of the support and the engagements, and that they should continue to pray to support us so that we get the strength to continue to do the good work that they've given to us, the task that they've given to us to perform.
Amazing. I want to see you in Parliament for a very long time.
Let's pray so.
Yes, some have been in Parliament for 20-something years. I want to see you there too.
Everything is possible.
Exactly,
yes.
Exactly. All right, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.